My friend dodged a bullet. Let me explain. So a while back in 2022, I was friends with this guy named, we'll call him Caleb. Now, mind you, I'm still friends with him, but at the time, it was in 2022 when I was in senior year. Now, my senior year was great. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it to the full. My friend Caleb, though, didn't really enjoy it as much, and I can't blame him because what I'm about to tell you is crazy. So, in 2022, Jayden was friends with this, best friends with this girl named, we'll call her Sarah. No, it's not the same Sarah, but it's a different Sarah. We're just calling her Sarah for the sake of not saying personal names. And he was best friends with her since like freshman year. Now, mind you, originally Caleb had a crush on Sarah in freshman year, but Sarah didn't feel the same, and he accepted the fact that, you know what, I'd rather just be best friends instead of just losing the friendship. And they were still best friends, but people thought they were dating, so they had to say they were cousins. Anyway, fast forward to around senior year, their friendship started to deteriorate because Caleb's friend, which is Sarah, had a boyfriend named, we'll call him Jake. And Jake and Sarah's relationship wasn't the best, if I'm going to be honest. There was a lot of issues. I won't say a lot of it, but like a lot of mental abuse and just toxic, I should say, is the best way I can explain it. What really happened was, well, Jayden dated a girl that he had a crush on in 8th grade and met her in senior year we'll call her Katrina. Katrina was Jayden's 8th grade crush at the time he was in 8th grade, but they met in senior year and, well, they liked each other. And so Caleb asked her out, and Katrina said yes. Now, when they started dating, there was a whole bunch of issues because, well, Caleb flirted with someone else who we'll call Sarah number 2. And Sarah number 2 was, he likes flirting. But unfortunately, since he dated someone else, well, Sarah didn't like that. Matter of fact, Sarah 2 was friends with Katrina. They were really good friends. And, well, there was a little drama between there. I don't remember too much, but basically, she cried. She made a whole scene that, man, freak you, Caleb. You didn't go date me. And basically, jealousy and stuff like that. I didn't like that. Caleb just was messing around. Didn't really take her seriously, yada, yada. Eventually, Sarah number 2 just let it be and accepted the faith. And I think their friendship is now with Katrina was okay. It's medium at the time. But with Sarah, which is the original Sarah, we're talking about best friends, well, she didn't take too lightly because Jayden was also spending less time with her and her friends. And Sarah did not like that. So Sarah was saying some stuff about, I would say, was part of the group where a lot of people were saying, calling Sarah, was like Katrina, a slut or a hoe. Yes, literally they said that. And I would say Sarah was a part of that. I wouldn't say she said exactly that, but basically insinuating that she cheated. She's a cheater. She'll probably cheat on you. You're not good for you type of woman. Caleb didn't like that, so Caleb eventually just contacted with her and he blocked her. And they were no longer best friends. Until later on, Caleb gets a phone call. Now, this is at the middle of the night. Now, he's sleeping at 3 a.m., mind you, and he gets a call, an unknown caller ID. Mind you, Caleb is telling me this story, and he said he got a call at 3 a.m., all right? Caleb's like, I'm not going to pick up. He doesn't pick up the first time. Then they call the second time. He doesn't pick up the second time. Then he gets a text that it's Sarah. Sarah's like texting him, saying, hey, I know things were a lot between us. There was a lot of issues, but I want to be best friends again. And so when Sarah called the third time, Caleb picked up. And then Caleb was explaining, I just want to let it be. I don't want to be best friends no more. Yada. But then Sarah said, no, Caleb, let's talk in the car. I said, what do you mean talking? And Caleb said, what do you mean talking in the car? He's like, well, I'm in front of your house right now. And Caleb's like, but it's 3 a.m. in his mind. He's saying, he's like, yo, this is 3 a.m. Why are you in the car? And I was questioning, like, 3 a.m. You're in front of this guy's house. And what did Caleb do? Well, Caleb, my friend, as dumb he is, he went for it. I'm like, bro, Caleb, why would you go for it? Caleb's like, I don't even know. He's an NPC. So Caleb goes in the car at 3 a.m. with Sarah. Now, mind you, before Sarah drives to pick up her other friend, Sarah waits and asks Caleb some questions. Now, I don't know the exact question she asked, but I know it was somewhere of the point of, hey, are you sure, you like your girl? The relationship, basically. It's just to be like, well, maybe Jayden doesn't really like this girl. Maybe Caleb doesn't like this girl. So she asks him, hey, Caleb, I said, do you really like your girl? Do you really like her? And then Caleb's like, I really like her to death. That's my number one, whatever the case was. And then Sarah was like, well, are you sure about that? Don't lie to me, Caleb. And then Caleb's like, no, I'm not lying to you. She's like, have you ever cheated on her or looked for a different woman maybe, possibly? And Caleb's like, no. And then these questions kept happening for a while. And eventually she stopped and just drove off. Now, this is going to be important for later on. Trust me, this is a very important part. And you're going to see why. So later on, she picks up a friend named, we'll call her Trinity. Let's call her Trinity. She picks up her friend Trinity. But as soon as he picks her up, Again, Sarah asks us, hey, Caleb, are you sure this girl is good for you? I don't feel like she's good for you and stuff like that. And Caleb's like, she's good for me, trust. And Sarah's saying the same thing, like asking, no, are you sure about that? I don't want you to feel like you have to, whatever the case was, right? Still trying to ask the same questions, but in a different way. Caleb still denies it, and whatever the case was. So they drove in the car for a while, and eventually Caleb just dropped. Caleb then, I think Sarah asks Caleb, hey, similar questions are, you could tell me anything, you're my best friends, yada yada. And Caleb's like, I just want to go home. So can you please take me home? So Sarah says, yes, I'll take you home. And they're driving and they stop somewhere. And Caleb knows that this is not his house. He's like, wait a second, this is not my house. In fact, she brought him to his house. And he sees in front of the house. Now, mind you, Caleb is like, I wanted to go home. And Sarah's like, no, I just want to talk to you in the house and stuff like that. And he sees that there's no car. He sees that, he's like, are you sure anyone's home? And Sarah's like, oh, no, my parents are not home, but my sister's home. Now, Caleb questioned that in his mind because he looked and his sister typically has a car parked. But when they went to the house, there was no car parked at all. Only but the car they stood on. So they got out the car and Caleb's reluctant to go in. But Sarah's like, oh, no, Caleb, let's just talk. I just want to talk, just come to our house, we can talk some more, hang out like you used to, yada yada. But Caleb's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I was like, no, I just want to go home, and stuff like that. So listen, I just want to go home. He's like, it's late. And then Sarah keeps insisting. And Sarah's like, no, just trust me, my sister's home, you talk to us, like that. We're good friends and stuff like that. And Caleb's like, no, I just gotta go home and stuff like that. And it kept going on and on to the point where Caleb actually had to, I believe, had to walk home or call an Uber. I don't remember how he got home, but he had to go home. And so eventually he's like, you just gotta go home and stuff like that. I said, we'll talk another time, whatever the case was. So this is crazy. I'm gonna tell you why it's crazy. So at that moment, it seemed like nothing happened, right? It was suspicious, right? And I'm asking Caleb, I'm like, Caleb, what was she trying to do? Because it sounded like she was trying to harm you, bro, or like to oof you, basically. And Caleb told me this. He's like, no. He says, it's even worse. And so he tells me that I think 2 weeks later, he meets up with Sarah's ex-boyfriend, which was Jake at the time. Remember I mentioned you guys, Jake. And he's like, yo, Joe, what's up? They were cool again. And Jake told Caleb, and this is what he said. He says, yo, Caleb, I gotta admit, bro, you actually were smart. He's like, you're lucky. He says, so now this is the important part. Remember I told you guys about the car, why she was asking Caleb about what happened, about her girlfriend. Does he like his girlfriend? Did he cheat on her? Whatever the case was. Jake said that, he says, yo, lucky you didn't say anything crazy or anything like you didn't like your girl, because what she tried to do was she was recording the entire time you were talking with her. So, and when Caleb heard that, yo, she was trying to set you up, bro. She was auto recording the whole time, trying to get Caleb to admit that he cheated on her. Wow, I was like, yo, that's some messed up stuff to do. But Jake said that wasn't it. He says, that's not what happened. And that's not the only thing that she was trying to do. And he's like, Caleb's like, what do you mean? He's like, I gotta tell you something even crazier. He's like, okay, tell me something crazier. He said, bro, Caleb, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You dodged a bullet. Literally dodged a bullet. The biggest bullet you can. He's like, what do you mean by that? He says, you remember when, remember when Sarah told you to go to her house? He's like, you remember that, but I didn't go. And he says, thank God you didn't go when. He's like, why? He's like, because he said, and this is what Jake said. I'm gonna have to bleep it, but you know what I mean. He says, bro, if you would have went to her house, you know what she was gonna do? He's like, what? She said she was going to, her plan was she was gonna go into her room while you're in her house, get naked, and call the cops and say that you her. And when I heard that, Caleb was like, and when I heard that, yo, I'm like, Caleb, bro, that is crazy. And Caleb was like, bro, she was trying to get me in trouble to try to set her up for a charge to get to jail. So he could have got to jail, guys. And when I heard that, I'm like, yo, you dodged a bullet. And then Caleb blocked her. He's like, yo, never again will I ever talk to her again. And even I blocked her because I was somewhat friends, but I wasn't close to friends compared to Caleb, to Sarah. I'm like, yeah, I'm blocking her. And that was it, man. I was like, yo, Caleb, I'm so glad you didn't go in, bro, because you would have really got in trouble. And sure, he didn't do it, right? He didn't commit the crime, but you know, those charges it's not a good sign to have those charges, even like hearing someone get accused. And I'm just so glad that Caleb is still here to this day. And he's still marrying. He married the woman that he loved. And I gotta be proud of him, man, because he was going through a rough time, man, especially that time where a lot of people, it wasn't just Sarah, but a lot of other people were also saying, like, yo, she's not the one, stuff like that, right? Including someone who liked it, Sarah at the time, too, was making some lies and stuff like that. It was a big drama for him, but at the end of the road, it ended up being a blessing for him. And now he has a kid. I don't know if he has 2 kids. I think he has a kid, only 1 kid so far. And so I'm proud of Caleb, man, for what he's done. We don't talk as much before. We're more like, if we talk, we play a game, but that's about it. Otherwise, man, that was the story so far. I'm using these names because I was trying to call Caleb, one of my real life friends. That's not his name, obviously, but I'm not going to say his name. If you guys can assume it is, fine, but I'm not going to confirm nor deny. And the thing is, Caleb, this is a true story, by the way. Now, I have to tell you guys that obviously I wasn't there for all of it, right? So I don't know if it's fully true, but I know for a fact that I believe Jayden, Jayden. And Caleb wouldn't lie like that usually. But again, I wasn't fully there for it, but this is a true story that he told me. So, and I do believe it because there was a lot of problems going on around with Sarah that to the point where they had to kick her off the school and go to a separate online. It was that bad. So I do believe that happened. But again, I wasn't there to see it. But yeah, guys, the lesson of the story is, and this is not just a lesson of the story, but number one, don't go in someone's car at freaking 3 a.m. But be careful who you're friends with, even if you're friends with a girl or even dating a woman, right? Be careful. Don't trust him immediately. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you never know. This is not with a woman too. Also with a guy too. You never know. For women here, be careful of guys that you're friends with because you never know what their interior motives are and how crazy someone can be. So always be safe. Make sure you go crazy. And I'll tell you more stories. This is with my friend's story, but I'll tell you more stories later on. And trust me, they're not all big and bad. There's some funny stuff too, like I said. But this is the one that was crazy. And I chose to play Batman for this one. So hope you guys enjoy. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you very much. See you next video.